Vikings lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Final score 26-14. Vikings are now 6-7, and there are two facets of yesterday's game as far as the main culprits for why the Vikings lost yesterday. And for what it's worth, these are two things that I absolutely hate talking about. Number one, we're going to start with the officiating crew. I never ever wanted to be that guy that's like, oh, the refs, the officials, they pulled a Tim Donaghy, fuck the refs, they cheated, blah, blah, blah. I've never wanted to be that guy. In fact, there have been several times where you could point to bad calls or bad no calls throughout the history that I've been covering the Vikings on this podcast, but I never really go to it. But there's no way that you can ignore what we saw yesterday. And there were so many either bad calls, blatantly bad calls, or blatantly no calls that should have been called that I'm going to go over as many as I can, but there were so many of them, chances are I'm going to miss one or two. Number one, the late hit on Chad Beebe on the punt return, in which case he was clearly down by contact, the play was over, but still took a late hard hit by Andrew Adams. No penalty, no flag. Okay. Number two, Harrison Smith. They called a helmet-to-helmet penalty on Harrison Smith, in which case Hitman was already going for the tackle. The ball carrier literally lowered his helmet into Harrison Smith, but they called a penalty. Number three, the bogus defensive pass interference call on Jeff Gladney. It should have been his first NFL interception, followed by a pick six before the refs called the play dead and threw out the flag. Mike Evans, first of all, Jeff Gladney had great coverage on Mike Evans in the end zone. Mike Evans slipped. Why is it Jeff Gladney's fault that Mike Evans couldn't keep his balance? They decided to call a defensive pass interference. That was absolute bullshit. Number four, apparently 1 second in Tampa Bay, Florida is the equivalent of 5 seconds anywhere else, because final possession for the Bucs in the first half, not only am I going off on the officiating crew, because normally they stop the game and they say, hey, the clock needs to be adjusted to here or there, so they should have known better, but also whoever was operating the clock upstairs, because final possession for the Bucs in the first half, they have no timeouts left. There was about, let's say, 7 seconds remaining. They complete a pass over the middle. They're trying to hurry up, and I'm saying to myself, there's no way they're going to be able to spike this ball to stop the clock, and all of a sudden you see 5 1,000, 4 1,000, 3 1,000, 2 1,000, 1 1,000, and the Bucs are still moving, but all of a sudden time just stops at 1 second. Tampa Bay, they broke the time-space continuum. What the fuck kind of shit was that? There was so much fix in that bullshit. All of a sudden, they got the spike off, and I'm gonna put a graphic up that shows that shit in slow motion. It made absolutely no sense. So they got a free spike, one last free play, which turned into a Hail Mary from Tom Brady to Rob Gronkowski. Incomplete. The half should be over. Right? Wrong. Flag. Defensive pass interference. What? Now, first of all, if we really want to get nitpicky with it, was it a pass interference? Yes, it was. At the same time, every Hail Mary that you've seen always has a pass interference. You don't call that shit, but they decided to do it yesterday for Tom Brady. You could tell the NFL, they want Tom Brady to get to the playoffs so bad, and the storyline would be so great going from the AFC Patriots to the NFC Bucks. We absolutely need this to happen, because the Vikings, they were 6-6. Not only did they control their own destiny, they may even be able to, dare I say, jump up above the Bucks, because if they beat the Bucks, they get to 7-6. Oh my God. Push come to shove, the Vikings, they have the head-to-head tiebreaker over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But we're not going to let this happen. Flag. And then all of a sudden, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they get one last free play, basically at the 1-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. They get a last-second stocking stuffer of a field goal, 3 points before the end of the first half. But wait, I can't even forget about this. There was at least one no call of contact to the helmet of Kirk Cousins. No penalty. I know by Jason Pierre-Paul there may have been another one. No penalty, no flag. So let me get this straight. For the Minnesota Vikings, the NFL officiating crew, they decided to make it rain yellow flags left and right to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' benefit, but obvious blatant calls that should have been called for a penalty against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Nah, Vikings fam, you're on your own. Really? And then the second facet of this game that I want to talk about is Dan Bailey, which we can start after the Dalvin Cook touchdown, where it's like, oh, the Vikings, they're about to go up 7-0 against Tampa on the road. This is amazing. This is incredible. And Dan Bailey, your bum ass, you came out there and took all the momentum, all the energy away from Minnesota on the extra point. You missed the extra point, really? Just like last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars? Then you followed that up by 3 missed field goals. You missed one from 36, one from 54, one from 45, all wide right. Now, let's be clear about something. Dan Bailey obviously deserves to walk his ass back from Tampa Bay, Florida to Minnesota by himself, while the rest of the team, they take the flight home. But this is deeper than Dan Bailey. The bigger issue here is Rick Spielman. In fact, the reason why the Minnesota Vikings have had kicking issues over the last at least 5 years is Rick Spielman. It was clear as day long before Wyatt left Blair Walsh in the playoff game in the 2015 wild card round versus the Seattle Seahawks. It was clear as day long before that Blair Walsh, he was mentally soft. And I put this on everything because I didn't do the video podcast back then. I said this straight up. I said, yo, he is going to cost us. He is going to cost us. He is going to be the reason why the Minnesota Vikings, why they will never get anywhere as long as he's the kicker on this team. And then what happened? Wyatt left. 2 years later, going to the divisional round of the 2017 playoffs up against the New Orleans Saints, Kai Forbath makes the biggest kick in the history of the Minnesota Vikings franchise. He's a big-time reason for why you even had a chance to win off the Minneapolis Miracle. And then the following season, you said, screw you, Kai Forbath, we're going to bring in Daniel Carlson for the 2018 season, in which case, the reason why you tied against the Green Bay Packers in week 2 at Lambeau Field, you should have won that fucking game, is because your kicker, the sexy leg out of the SEC, Daniel Carlson, that you chose. And going back to the preseason 2018, Rick Spielman was looking for any reason to cut Kai Forbath. We knew it was inevitable, but I forgot what game this was. He missed one kick in the preseason and said, that's it. We're bringing in Daniel Carlson. That's the guy. He will be the official kicker for the Minnesota Vikings. The reason why you ended up tying that game against the Green Bay Packers week 2 at Lambeau Field is because of Daniel Carlson. Had you had Kai Forbath for that game, you would have won that game. You would have made the playoffs in 2018. And then we go to yesterday's loss. Dan Bailey, had you kept Kai Forbath, and I am on record saying if I was GM of this team, Kai Forbath, he would still be on this team. He was the right fit for this team. You would have made the playoffs in 2018. You would have won that game yet, or you at least would have had a chance to win that game. You would have probably got at least 9 out of those 10 fucking points that Dan Bailey missed yesterday. Yes, Rick Spielman, he makes some great picks. Harrison Smith, Danielle Hunter, all these picks that he makes, Eric Kendricks, my God, Justin Jefferson, what a home run pick that has been. At the same time, he has screwed this franchise among other positions, especially at kicker. And you know what? Before yesterday's game, I was coming along saying, you know what? Maybe I'll do a podcast saying that Rick Spielman, he might deserve a contract extension just because of getting Justin Jefferson. I was so close. And then I saw that shit yesterday and I said, you know what? It's a package deal with Rick Spielman. He does some great things, but he's also so smart. He's too damn smart to be doing some of the dumb shit that he has done time after time after time, leading the front office of the Minnesota Vikings. So yes, Dan Bailey, you missed 10 points, but the bigger issue is Rick Spielman. We do this 3 times a week, mediocre best sports podcast with Realistic Randy. Check me out on Twitter at realistic_Randy, Facebook at Realistic Randy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Next podcast will be on Wednesday. We'll see you then.